Jazakallah khairan. Our next speaker is Dr. Ahmad Saltagi. He is a physician, a certified financial planner, and president of Zaki Financial since 2018. And one of Dr. Saltagi's missions is to educate Muslims about value-based investment and financial planning. And just one quick housekeeping note, if time permits, after each speaker, we will have time for Q&A. And the speaker would please, if the speaker would, just please select one or two people depending on time. And then we can, if you have follow-up questions, please ask during the networking sessions. We have plenty of breaks today, inshallah. So please help me in welcoming Dr. Ahmad Saltagi.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I was here last year, and it's always a pleasure and honor to be with you. And thank you for Guidance College for considering me. As said, I'm a physician. I have a strong passion for Islamic finance and became, was so involved. I became an advisor, then, CFP, and alhamdulillah, inshallah ta'ala, whatever knowledge I have, I'm willing to share because my mission first is to educate the Muslim community. So, of course, there are several Islamic firms, and alhamdulillah, they're increasing, but we, for the people who are interested in joining the force and opening their firms, I think there's still a lot of need for Muslim financial professionals. The Muslim community is good size in this country. They're younger, they're affluent. A lot of Muslims, do well. We have more children, and unfortunately, though, our investment options are limited. Alhamdulillah, we have some, like in sukuk and mutual funds and some ETF, we're making some headway. But as mentioned recently, actually, in Dr. Kabir's presentation, we really have limited options when it comes to takaful, when it comes to real estate funds, when it comes to separately managed accounts, private capital, Islamic private capital. So, we need to grow in those areas. We have also a few Muslim advisors, not enough to cover the community for sure. But one of the limitations, though, is that Muslims also don't know the value of a financial advisor. A lot of us still want to do it like, DIY, DIY. And a lot of them don't understand what's involved and the benefit of that. And when it comes to financial planning, it's even worse. A lot of Muslims kind of like, honestly, sometimes I have also like notary public. So sometimes before Hajj, I get a lot of this. People call me and say, would you please, they print will off the internet, and will you please notarize this for me? And this is like, usually a brother and a sister in their 50s with 5 children and good wealth. They thought about doing a simple will in their 50s. So, that's way behind on estate planning. So Islamic investment is ethical and socially responsible. And why I'm putting this, because when we try to educate Muslims, we find that honestly, even Muslims don't know most of those facts. When you talk to people about, come and join an Islamic firm as a client or even as an advisor, they're not aware that Islamic finance is actually successful. Most of the funds or even the private advisory firms are doing well. We're actually beating the market, despite the fact that they're limiting themselves to, screened stocks, which is like eliminate 75–80% of the stocks. They are still, beating the market. Most of the time, they do even better than the, subhanAllah, Allah put barakah. So it's like we do better than S&P 500. And it is stable. a lot of those funds have like 25, 50 stocks. They're well diversified and run by professionals. And they're usually safe. I mean, as you know, the financial industry in this country is very regulated. So for me to open a firm, I have to go jump a lot of hoops. For me to open an account for someone, it has to be very safe. The money will be like custodied at another firm. I don't take the money of people. For example, I put it in Schwab or Altruist or Fidelity. I only manage the account. So if something happened to me, the account is safe. It's in the name of the individual. So, it's really safe. And as I said, though, we're not, so advanced in other types of financial instruments. So what are the opportunities? Many Muslims still invest in stocks outside halal funds. And as mentioned by the brother earlier, that being Muslim not always means Islamic conscious, because either they don't pay attention or they don't put the effort. And a lot of Muslims also, their money is tied up in their 401k, which they don't have Islamic option. So we need to make extra effort to get there. So that's part of the education, to educate the Muslims that, when you put your money somewhere else, most of the time it's not Islamic. And, they're buying a lot of haram things. They're dealing with a lot of haram things. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ask us where we get our money from and where we spend them. So that's important. Muslims have to be aware of this. And the other thing that also got me into this is that, like, I was putting my money in this fund and that fund. I've always invested in Islamic funds, but nobody ever asked me, what is your risk tolerance, brother? When are you retiring? What's your goals? So maybe this fund will suit you better than this one. Nobody asked me. I was just, I like to put my money some here, some here, some here. But that's why we need advisors. You need to sit with your client and see what their goals, and maybe aggressive is not good for them. Maybe conservative is not good for them. Maybe this fund and that fund are not good for them. So, we need to tailor that to the need of our clients. So that's a lot of opportunities. A lot of Muslims, don't do that. And maybe the brother is very picky. Muslims are picky sometimes. Like you give them, for example, a fund, and they say, well, I like all those stocks, but I don't like this particular stock. For example, like some Muslims don't like to invest in McDonald's, for example, for political reason or because they sell some bacon, even though sometimes, I'm not sure honestly if McDonald's is halal or haram right now. I'm just giving an example. But we screen all our stocks. But let's say that, for example, that's screened halal, for example, your clients sometimes they say, I don't want that. I don't want Facebook. I'm not kind of trying to name companies, but if your client does not want that, sometimes the mutual funds or the ETF are cookie cutters, So SMAs is another good examples where you can tailor that to your client and take away some stocks and replace them with others. And opportunity is trying also to work with your client to get into their financial, into their 401k, see if they have any brokerage option, and invest for them Islamically within their employer plan. And, opportunity is to open up private capitals and real estate investment funds. What about financial planning? So financial planning is lacking in the Muslim community big time. I don't think even honestly, I've been doing this for 6 years now. I don't think, even 1% of the Muslims have a financial planner. But look how much, that is. Budgeting, debt planning, realistic financial goals, insurance planning, tax planning, investment planning, retirement planning, Social Security, Medicare, education planning, college funds. guardianship, incapacity, healthcare advance directives, estate planning, gift planning, charitable planning, business transition planning. I mean, like, so many things involved. That's a lot of knowledge and a lot of need, that is not fulfilled. So there is a lot of effort to be made to educate the Muslims and help them achieve that. And honestly, any mistake in that regard can have a lot of bad consequences for the Muslims. And in Islamic financial planning, if you are Muslim and you go to a regular financial planner, it may not be, what you need, because your needs are unique. You're immigrant, you don't know anything about financial planning. Your family is not like the traditional family. You have usually one working spouse. You have special barrier. You don't have relatives in the US enough to support you. If you die and you're the only breadwinner, then your family is a big problem. You don't like to take loans. You don't want to take student loans. You don't want to finance your home with riba. When you get sick, you have different, mentality than other people, different rules, and your inheritance distribution is different. So, the regular American planner is not going to understand your needs. Muslim planner will. And that's why I'm saying, like, it's so important. I felt so important. Like, nobody is helping me with that. Let me do it myself, So, so as I said, most Muslims do not have a professional financial plan, and they don't know what's even included in financial planning. And most of them also think it's not worth the money. So when a financial plan set up a plan for you and charges you $2,000, honestly, most Muslims tell me, I'm not paying you that. I don't think it's worth it. You're putting a comprehensive plan that will save him hundreds of thousands of dollars, save him a lot of financial mistakes. And it takes a lot of time to develop, but they still don't see the value of that. So we need to change that, because it's very valuable. As I said, a lot of them want to do DIY, and a lot of Muslims have, they have a will there. Maybe they have a trust. Maybe they have, an advance directive. Maybe they have a guardianship, but it's bits and pieces. Most of them think that, oh, we have a very good plan, but based on my discussion with a lot of Muslims, they don't. So, now that's why, I developed Zaki Financial. Those are our goals. This is not about us, but I tell you, like, why I got there and how to become a financial advisor for all the brothers who are interested. The easiest route is to start as a registered investment advisor. You can, get hired first by a financial firm, and they will sponsor you. They'll pay for your education. They'll help you pass the exam, Or, you can also do it on your own. The most important exam that you have to pass is called Series 65. Very dry. It's a really not easy one to pass. But, if you put the effort, you will. Then you register with your state. As long as you have under $100 million, you cannot register with the SEC. You have to register with your own state. But if you have more than 5 clients in different states, then you can register. Like I started in Indiana. Most of my clients are Indiana. I have like more than 5 in Texas, so I'm now registered in Texas. You can add more registration. And then the certified financial planner is a lot harder, because you have to have, 6,000 hours. You have to take their course, which is really, 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 really long. And then you have to take their board, which is very hard. But again, it's very worth it. I think if you are doing it while working in a financial institution, it's even easier, because you're practicing, what you're studying. So, so if you want to make that your full-time job while working in an Islamic institution, it's well worth it, and it's very needed. You can, even after you get the experience and a degree, you can open your own firm. You registered your investment firm with your state, and it is hard to get to in the custodial world, I would say, because most of them, unless you have $10 million, of investment that you're moving to their institution, then would not let you in. But sometimes based on referral, and there are some ways, there are some firms who will take you with less than that. But, if you're interested, please contact me. I'll help you get there. But you have to be careful about what system to use and the compliance and the security and all of that, and get ready for audit. The state audit smaller firms a lot. I've been with my firm now 6 years only. I've been audited once, but everything was good, so they didn't say anything. But they will audit smaller firms. So, and there's also some expenses. You have to pay for education, you have to pay for testing, you have to pay for registration, you have to open an office, compliance system, technical systems, marketing, you have to maybe to join some associations, and you have to buy insurance. So a lot, those are expensive. So to open a firm is not, and then if you want to build a portfolio, you have to, I hire also a sub-advisor to run my portfolio on a daily basis. So that's also, is expensive. So I think, those are the challenges. But honestly, I am a full-time physician. I put a lot of effort, and I was able to get there. So I think anybody can. And we can help each other. I think there's a lot of need in the Muslim community, and it will take a lot of education. Thank you.